Welcome. Hi. welcome to the Dental Dusk Paranormal Podcast. I'm Connor, and I'm joined tonight with Rob. Rob, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, man? Pretty good.
It's going. It is going. Rob, we've been friends for a minute now. Yet again, another friend and fellow alumni from Terror Behind the Walls, where we spent many nights scaring the bejesus out of people.
It was quite the environment, man. Like, there's nothing in the world like that. You can't find anything like that.
Nothing else like it. But anyway, brother, you a while back I had sent out a message to the world on my little Facebook feed saying, hey, if you have a paranormal encounter, if anything's happened to you, would you please reach out and let me know, and then maybe we'll put you on the podcast that we're working on. And Rob, you sent me just like a little piece of a story. I guess the story is like more involved, and I think it started out when you were like 11 or 12, something like that.
Well, not to age myself too much, but it was like right before 9/11, 2001.
Uh-huh.
When there was still so much potential and stuff. But I was 11 years old, probably around the time, and just one day, man, I remember, I can't. It was such a crazy thing to go through because it started while I was sleeping, and then it lasted like the first 5 minutes of being up. But in those 5 minutes, it felt so real. Yeah. Like everything that happened, there was no way. Like if it was my imagination, it could have been worse. It didn't get to that point where it needed to become something more than just like paranormal. Something not regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
you want to just go into it?
Hey, man, this is what's up. This is what's up. You have the story, and
I'll set it. It's Northeast Philadelphia.
Exactly.
Which anyone who knows the area, it was like Frankfurt and Levick, right by the old Devon movie theater. Regular row home. 1 in a million home in Philadelphia. Typical row home.
Yeah.
And then it just became this, it was a 3-bedroom home, and me and my brother shared the back bedroom. And when we moved in, it seemed like a great house. There was never a bad energy to it, but as we lived there, it felt like that's something, I don't know if it existed beforehand, because like later on, like the basement of the house was like half finished, and there was a pile of dirt, which now it's like I wish I would have dug through it to see why there was a pile of dirt. You know what I mean? It was weird stuff like that. Things that like as a kid you kind of just write off, but now it's like, who was the guy that owned that house? I don't know, because we just rented, so it was like, a lot of questions. But it all started.
I was just saying, as you went on, you just felt weirder and weirder in the house.
Yeah, well, it started with this one event. It was like I was dead asleep. It was early morning, because when I woke up, it was like just that morning daylight kind of hitting the windows. But it started with, I was in sleep. I don't remember the dream. I just remember waking up to a loud blood curdling scream right in my ear. And I just remember my eyes like going open right away. And I in that moment, I'm like, what was that? Like, was that a dream? What woke me up? Like questioning, where did that come from? And as soon as I started to write it off, it was like, that had to be in the dream. I felt just something start dripping down my ear. And like my intention, or my first like thought was like blood, like what, because I don't know that what's coming out of an ear. Blood. So I touched it and it was dry. There was nothing there. And it's like later on, it's like I thought about it. I'm like, was it a tongue? Like, was it some fucking thing that, like, because it was a wet feeling. It could have been any, like, I thought blood, but it could be like, I don't know what. It was the same ear. that the scream just had happened like seconds before. And then as soon as that happened, I threw my blanket over me, and it was one of those like stitched blankets, so you can kind of see the light through it. And as I'm underneath, I'm trying to like calm myself down. I'm like, there's no way that, this is all in my head. And then as soon as I said that to myself, like in my head, that thought came across me. I felt the blanket start coming down in front of me, man, like being pulled in front of my bed. And the only thing I could think of at this time, I'm still trying to like make this make sense. And I'm like, maybe it's my cat clawing on my bed. So I call his name, and like literally, like I could see the door right in front of me. As I call his name, he comes running up the steps, jumps in my bed, and everything stops. It was over. He sits right at my feet, just like stake and claim, like I'm here, and that was it. It was, and then later on, like eventually, because I was 11 then, shared a room with my brother. A couple years later, I needed my own room, so I got like, it was like used to be the garage, but it had been converted into an extra room, so that became my room. And every night sleeping there, I used to have these crazy sleep paralysis events happen, and like it would always be the same time of night. And I found later on that like I could like make it not happen if I left the TV on. If I left the TV on, I could sleep for some reason. Or if I went to sleep before a certain time, it would happen. It was the weirdest thing. Like there was this, like if I think about it, I could probably process how it works, because as a kid, I was just trying to like make anything work. Like I needed sleep for school. Sometimes I go to bed, 9 o'clock, wake up at 3 a.m, and then I can't go to bed because I just had, you wake up like feeling like your heart rate's going, and you can't, you're trying to make sense of everything that just happened. But like during those experiences, I would see this kid, and I know that, oh, this is another thing that like now looking back, I didn't think about this before, but like in that bedroom, when we had moved in, oh man, this is so weird. There was a closet. Like everything was
exclusives.
The house was completely empty when we moved in.
Yeah.
In the closet, I remember it was this tiny little closet. In the back, I remember seeing something when we moved in. I was like, "What is this?" So I go and grab it, and it's this little red toy piano, like old, like wood mallets. Like when you hit the key, it was like a mallet hitting a xylophone inside.
Yeah.
And I threw it out because it freaked me out. Like I was like, the noise, like as a kid, you're 11 years old. That's like, ding, ding, ding. It's like, bye. I don't know if I pissed something off, but like, yeah, that would make sense because that was before everything. And then I feel like that kid, because during the sleep paralysis, I would see a kid who was like, I don't know, 6 maybe at most, like a young kid. I don't know.
And you don't recognize this kid at all?
He'd be sitting like on my bed, like because I'd wake up and I couldn't move, but I would be able to see, and usually it would be like this little kid kind of like hanging out. And later on, I always felt like he was pissed off at me because I turned off the TV. Like that was his time. Like he's like, leave the TV on so I can watch TV.
Oh, so it's like. So that's what you think it was? You think it's like, all right.
That's how I processed it. This is like, I can't even prove that any of this happened. Yeah. But it like worked itself out in a way that like, even I was a kid, so it's like you're just trying to like
to make sense of it all.
Yeah, and not just come off crazy,
It's like, hey, if I'm gonna talk about it, I gotta make sense of why,
Exactly.
And so for you, that was why. Well, I mean, it would check it out. I mean,
I did have other like smaller things. There was one time, at this time in my life, I was messing around with music. I started recording songs on a little 8-track recorder. And there was one time when I like made a love song for my girlfriend at the time, and I like did a little vocal, which was terrible. But as I was listening back to it at the end, there was this voice that came in before I stopped recording, and it was just this growly voice, man. And it scared me so much, I deleted it, and like that was.
Deleted.
I know as an adult, it's like, oh man, but as a kid, you don't want that to exist.
No.
You don't want proof of that. You know, you want it to be gone. You know, any way you can.
Unless it was me.
Yeah,
I'd be like, hey everybody, listen to this. Wow.
Yeah.
I just
I'm sorry.
just for 1 second, I keep on thinking about this kid that you kept on seeing. Now, can you describe this?
And this is a thing. Like, I could be projecting. You know, like my belief is
Yeah.
the thought. You fill in thoughts. So, like, if it's a kid, you kind of fill in what you see a kid being, and the kids usually, like, we as humans put ourselves in first. So if it's a little kid, I saw a little boy, dark haired. I mean, he was very slender, you know, for a kid. Like, I guess an average kid, you know. And yeah, like, you never seemed mean. Like, it never seemed like a, you know, bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think, you know, if I was like trying to make sense in any way, like if I was just not freely come up with ideas about the situation, I think there was two entities, or at least one that pretended to be two. I think there was like a very malicious thing, and then something that was like trapped from that, like being held captive.
Okay.
And I feel like that was what I had experienced through just living in that house. Like it was, you know, it wasn't attached to me at all. I think it was something that was attached to that house because something had happened with the owner, with his wife, and it's weird. Like, and the thing is, later on, like my stepfather, who was like, he was a great man, but he dealt with problems happened in that house. And you know, like you hear things sometimes where it's like if there are spirits that can influence men, they will. And like he always, you know, like he had a problem with alcohol, and in that house, he kind of lost the will to fight for it. So it's like there was a lot of things at play, and it was a crazy time in my own life. Like so much going on, you know. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I feel you.
I mean, yeah, everything's good now. I mean, my stepfather, he passed away of natural causes, but like, you know, he nothing ever happened where he, you know, lost a fight to any sort of, you know, entity like that.
Yeah. Well, I know you reached a little core with me with your grandfather and his alcohol and
Stepfather,
spirits, or stepfather. I'm sorry,
no, I did some
stepfather.
grandfather.
I heard, but no, I hear you there. I've got my own personal story, not uh that's close to me, but either way, little thing to edit out later. Thank God for editing now. This won't just be the thing. But hey, Rob, let's yeah, I just wanted to if you had anything specific about the entity that you saw of the kid, if there's any like clothing, or if you saw any, if like anything stood out. But I think, as you said, you may just
I feel like I don't, like I said, it was a, I don't know, generic white kid with dark hair.
just a
Um,
generic white kid. Okay.
but I feel like when he only got involved with me, and this is, you know, I don't know, I could be right, because I used to leave, you know, things that I would have watched on, so I'm sure he liked watching them, because it was always like at 3 a.m. if the TV wasn't on, or if I went to sleep like too early. Like if I went to sleep at like 8, it would happen to me. And it was like real weird, man. It was like one of those things where like I ended up like developing a habit where I wouldn't just leave the TV on, but I would leave like a light on. And not because I was scared of the dark, but it just stopped that from happening. I don't know why. It was just so weird. It's one of those things like it doesn't happen to me anymore, thank God. But like it stopped happening. Like once I moved from there, it happened a little bit, not as much, and then just stopped once you know time went by. Like I once in a while I'll have it happen where it's like now I know the feeling, so when it starts to happen in my dream, I'm prepared to deal with it. It's so much different now because I used to get scared. Now it's like I know how to deal with it, but I don't know what that means.
Okay.
You know, like it's all subconscious. Like it's something in my subconscious that's like I don't know. It knows how to calm me down and not like get over you know anxious about it or whatever. You know, because I don't know if you've ever had a similar experience with that, but like it's freaky, man.
You know, no. because if I had, I wouldn't have to think about it. No, I've had night terrors for sure. I've had night terrors where I've like screamed in my sleep. Um, Sleep paralysis, no. I just don't recall that ever happening to me. I feel like if that did happen to me, I'd be able to recall that, and I don't think it's ever happened.
It's crazy because from what I recall, like you wake up or you feel like you wake up and you feel like you are moving, but you look down and you're not moving, and you're literally like, I had like at my house, my dad's house, which was separate location. I had experiences that it was only once or twice it happened, but one time I remember seeing like feet swinging in front of my face, like if somebody had hung themselves, and it like in my dream. Oh,
yeah.
I don't know how much of this you want to include.
All of
it. But so when as a kid, when I started going through these, I told my parents at least the best way I could at the time. And my mom used to tell me to like call out to Archangel Michael, and I did. Like I don't, as a kid at least, like that was my way of coping when going through that because I could still hear myself. The thing is, there's these. I remember certain times, like it didn't happen all the time. Like if it was a little kid, when I would see him, it was peaceful. I never felt like I heard a voice from him. Like I never heard like him talking to me.
Yeah.
But like in random sleep paralysis events, there was one time when I was like a little bit older. I was like a teenager, and I remember I was like trying to call out for Archangel Michael, and I wasn't even really like religious. I was baptized Catholic, but that was it. I never went further than that. And I remember one time though, like I heard, like it felt like a echo of my own words, but like in a scary voice, like freaked me out. But like I kept just the mindset of like leaving myself open to like I don't know. It's weird. It's like in the moment you just want to get out of it. Like you're willing to do whatever you can. Morally, you're not going to bow down to anything while you're in that state, or you're already like you're in a state of where you can't move.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's. I'm glad it doesn't happen, but it's a trip, man. It's a drug in itself, almost. Like it's an experience that I'm sure you could sell to some people. You would buy it.
Well, I mean,
you can control it.
Well, so when was the last time that you think you had? Can we call it an episode? I don't know what else to. It's just like an experience. A sleep paralysis. I mean, if it was sleep paralysis, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it sounds like sleep paralysis. I think that there are other quote unquote entities associated with sleep paralysis. Ooh, but I mean, either way, I mean, it's really scary. And
the last time I went through one. I think I was like 17. I was living on my own. And it's interesting because it's like the one time it wasn't anything even remotely malicious. Geez, man, I might cry. This is like,
take my hand, brother. Take my hand. Take my hand. We got this. We'll get through this together. Okay. You got this.
My grandfather died in 2007. And it's funny that we were just talking about my grandfather. But, I mean, my stepfather, but we called him my grandfather. But it was crazy because I was working down the shore, living down there by myself. And I got a phone call saying he was in like hospice. So I came home, saw him. And like, he was basically gone, but like I gave him a hug and told him that like I'd be there for my grandmother. And I left that night, went back down the shore. And I didn't know anything had happened. But that night I had this dream, I had an episode or an experience, like we'll call it. And all I remember seeing, it was like I was looking up and I saw two people with curly hair because my grandfather had curly hair, and I didn't know who the other person was, but I felt like the one was him. And I go into work the next morning, like early in the morning, and I get the phone call that he passed away. And it all made sense. And I told my mom who called me. And she said, she told me what happened. I told her about what happened to me that night. Or I don't know if I told, I was talking to my grandma. I told someone that, like, there was two people curly hair. And I think it was my grandma. And she was like, that was probably his mom. He was probably, like, showing his mom to you. Because I never met her. But, yeah. So I'm sorry.
No, man, don't be sorry. That's beautiful. I think that's beautiful.
No, he was a great role model. He was a good dude.
And it sounds like you cared about him very, very, very much. It sounds
yeah,
like
man. I mean, I don't got much to care about, but he was one guy. Yeah, he was one of them.
Well, I care about you.
I mean, you know,
I can see that
I was 17, so this is like, you know, we're talking some time here, but, you know, the way life is, things fucking. Exactly.
Yeah.
Can't be mad.
Well, hey, man, my heart goes out to you. Love you, brother. I appreciate you sharing that very personal.
I mean, you know, why not? Honestly, why not?
But, well, thank you, man. Thank you, man. I can see that means a lot to you, and that's something that you just, I mean, that's with you now, you know, forever. Just like, you know, your memories of him are with you.
You know, he knows I'm still, you know, still here with her, so I'm making sure she's taken care of. So.
I think that's beautiful. I think that's beautiful. And I'm sure others have had, I mean, I've heard so many different stories where people have passed on and they come back in a dream and they might have something to say or show or reveal. And
it was just interesting, though, that was like the last time.
Yeah, and nothing after that. That was.
I mean, if I do now, I know how to deal with it. It's like I said, like I can stop it before it affects me consciously. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't affect my sleep pattern at least. Like I can at least maybe I incorporate it into my dream. I don't know like how it works, but like. Because I do have moments where the next morning I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember almost feeling like I went into like an experience or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it just doesn't get there. It never gets there anymore like it used to, which thank God. Because I mean, well, I think I'd be able to deal with it like especially now, man. Like, you know, like I'm not scared of nothing. Fuck everything. I'm here for a reason at this point.
Hey, man, I mean, you know, after everything that you've been through, you know, bring it on,
man.
That's kind of how I feel. It's like, you know, I've got things that not a whole lot scares me, you know. There's like things that I have no control over that freak me out and that scare me because I have no control over them, obviously. But no, once you have crazy experiences, once you've life or death, changes you. You know, every day it's like, hey, we got through today. Tomorrow we're gonna get through. You know, bring it on. Bring it on.
And to a certain point, you see the path you're on.
Oh,
you know, you know that like one way leads the way you don't want to end up, and then one way leads where you obviously want to end up.
Yeah.
So you start making the choice of like you lose patience for the bullshit.
Yes, and you recognize what pathways lead to what and what you have to do to get. No. I hear you, brother. I hear you.
It's you lose patience, I think is what it is. You lose patience for the bullshit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you know, especially, and this is I think also something about getting older. It's like you see the obvious. Like it's like, well, why waste time on this bullshit when we need to focus on that? You know, it's like, I mean, it's whatever. It's I don't want to get political, but it's we need to realize like we can focus better on better things better.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
We're in the wrong race. How about that? We're in the wrong race.
Don't put up with bullshit.
Yep. I feel you. Yo, power to the people. Let's do this thing. Don't put up with bullshit, folks. You heard it here from Rob. First things first. No more bullshit. I love it. Rob, and I love you too, man. I'm so happy that you reached out. I'm so sorry that's been taking us so long to get.
No, and like I'd like to, if I can take, you said I can have a minute, so I'm going to take my minute because I don't know how much your audience knows you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a minute with Rob.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Oh no. Okay.
I met you. I think you either became manager before, like when I became assistant manager. I think you were working your way up to. Hold on. Rewind.
Yep.
2015, 16, you were manager?
16, I was a manager. Yeah, that was my second year of being a manager.
So that was my first year?
No, 16. Yeah, I was a manager at least my first year. 2014, the shop opens up, right? 2015, yeah, 2015, I'm an AZM, right? 2016, I'm a manager. 2017, so yeah, I'm a manager at this point, I believe. Yes.
Okay. So my first year as a assistant zone manager, you were a zone manager, and out of everyone,
attraction manager. Attraction.
Well,
to the in crowd, there's zones. Yeah.
And to a lot of people, that aspect may be foreign, because it was a big thing. There's hundreds of people working, and
300.
And among the managers, like, there was a smaller group of people that could kind of connect. And of those people, you were one of them that really, I felt, offered a sort of like role modelship to kind of like follow. I mean, and we would have chances to talk after work and stuff, and we were able to connect that way. And, politically, I think we are kind of close in terms of like what rights people should have.
For sure, man. For sure. Yeah.
I mean, we're all Americans, like, whatever. But regardless, it was an interesting environment. And with me especially, because I'm a big guy, I feel like other people feel like they feel the need to mirror some sort of intimidation that I give them. But I never felt that with you. With you, it was always just fucking A, business, B, party, right? like that's, I mean, like you work, and you work though. Like, you don't play around, you work.
No, I mean, we work hard so we can play just as hard.
Yeah, exactly. And
I like to have fun.
Great environment. You attribute it to the better part of working there, for sure.
Well, that means a lot here and there.
I mean, and there's a lot of people. It wasn't, there was a lot of us. There were some that were more self-serving, but like to the people that really wanted to make something cool, we did good. Like we had our chance.
You know what? At the end of the day, I started working there because, first of all, I love that building. Eastern State Penitentiary in the middle of Philadelphia. I love you. I love that building so much. And then once I started working, I love haunting. I love Halloween. The whole thing, it just up my alley. Just speaks to me in the way, and I don't understand why, but it does. And then working there and being with all you amazing people and working on this professional production with 6 attractions in this massive historical place. It's just a beautiful thing. To me, it was just beautiful. It was magical. It still is. It's still there. We'll see what happens. But yeah, man, it's just a whole other family, a whole other group of people that I love, and I'll continue to love.
They're still out there, man. Everyone's doing their thing,
Yeah, well, this is why I'm talking to you. I've had some other terror people. I mean, my first person on was my friend Lewis, and we met through terror. No, it's a thing. If I talk about it too much, I'm gonna start crying like a little sappity sap.
That's a different type of podcast. That's like
I know, I know. How quickly this podcast could turn into the Terror Cast, like for sure. Um, but but no, I mean, just and actually, speaking of Terror, I've been trying to talk to different artists from Terror, people who've worked there, who are artists, um, and seeing if we can see some like haunt art, you know, people that have been inspired from the attractions, you know, to like draw characters and draw scenes and like stuff that's like, you know, from the shop, from the yard, you know, all this stuff. I don't want to give specific names out, but like, you know what I mean? I don't know,
yeah.
because these things are like, man, I love it so much, you know. Like there's a reason why. I mean, I cared about everybody there. I cared about what we were doing, but you know, you had to believe in what you were doing. You know, you had to like get into it, and oh my god, it was just too easy and fun to get into that. Crazy, it's crazy.
It's important, I think, to like realize though, you know, as much as we want to get back there, and hopefully we do, at least we had the chance, man. You know?
I don't want to. I don't want to imagine my life without it. You know,
Yeah,
it's a
exactly. Like,
major part of my life and who I am and who I will be in the future because of it. Um,
I'll take what I got, and I appreciate it.
Oh,
Every second of it.
man,
Yeah.
I mean, like I count my lucky stars that I was able to come back after the little hiatus thing. You know, I love that place. Anytime to go back and do anything, but like, yeah, I mean, of course I think there's always more to do. There's always more to do, but there's always more work, But wouldn't mind. Um,
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, yeah, no, I mean, we did it. We totally did it. I mean, if it never happens again, I can stand here on the giant hill next to Frank and Carson, the gargoyles, and say, "We did it. We were terror behind the walls." You all know what time it is, right? Okay. Anyway. No, I still get hyped. I think about it here and there when I shouldn't. I get all hyped up for no reason because I'm a psychopath.
No, this is just something like to end that note on. At least it's funny because my last season was 2017, which was the 27th season at the address of 2027 Fairmount Avenue. My birthday is November 27th. Oh,
oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
But like that, and that's my own. You know, I have a journey with 27, and that was just part of it. You know,
Yeah.
and also to get like in depth, number 27 in the historical like thing is the or it was the movie's spot, like where 12 Monkeys, which
heck yeah, Bruce Willis.
Which yeah, I mean Terry Gilliam, dude, like
in Eastern State Penitentiary.
Philadelphia film too, you know, like that was huge for Philadelphia back then. Like I even remember hearing about it as a kid, like it was huge.
Yeah. Well, that's fascinating, Rob.
Yeah, just a little, so we can make it a positive spin there.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I think the whole thing's a positive spin. No, isn't it fascinating how this life works and how all these like it's a big world, right? And yet we've got all these little things that just keep on coming back in circles and loops. It's the ethereal eel, brother. It's the ethereal eel. Trademark. Anyway.
Well, a writer would call it a story circle.
Yes. Well, yeah.
It's a story writing thing, like different phases of every story. You know, like the monomyth. You know, some call it. But yeah, so it's like there's that. It's a revolution. You know, you got to come to a plateau at some point, but you're gonna find you're on another spin.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yes. Oh, Rob, I forgot how great it was talking to you, man. I know we talked like a while ago, but like this is great. It's good to see you again. Just seeing you is really good.
I mean, you know, we're hundreds of miles away right now. I mean, not that it matters, but like,
yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It ain't thousands. It's just I'll take 100. It's what we're only like 2.5 hours away. Whatever.
Okay, so I'll take it, man. I'll take the technology. You know, it's like worth it at this point. Like,
hey, this works. Of course, I love to be sharing the same space with you. But until then, we'll just have to make do with this. Rob, I feel like I could have you on again just for another like little chit chat and you know, talk about some. I would love to do like some group chats in the future.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
to talk about like maybe a subject or like I don't know. I have no idea. Just trying to figure out ways to be interactive with people. You know, not only just doing this, but you know, maybe having people on again
Mhm.
and reviewing
Yeah,
videos.
man, I think you're on a good path. You know, keep doing what you're doing, and like, yeah, I'm here for you, bro. Whatever I can do, you know,
Thanks,
I'm
man.
I'm here to support. You know, like, why not? Like, what's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst that could happen other than us
Exactly.
communicating and sharing?
And is that bad? I mean, that's great in itself.
I know. But I'm happy for this. I'm happy that we finally got a recording down with you. Now, is there anything else you'd like to add to your to your
Um,
experience to what happened?
in terms, I mean, just in my life though, like if I were to, like, I'm trying to go through other, even sort of paranormal experiences. I mean, I had one thing at Eastern State. I was walking by like Death Row, and I just heard it sounded like so many people talking, like 100 people. And as I was like walking around, I was expecting to see like a gathering, but it was literally dead. Like I had no idea. Like it sounded like they were in the cell block. Like it was like tripped me out for a second, you know. And I was by myself, so it was like it was just one of those things, you know. Like I'm sure you've had them. Like you just walking through the haunt in pitch black. You're just like, you know,
Yeah.
waiting for something to happen.
I mean, I'm trying to think back. There was one manager meeting that we had, and that was out past the baseball field. It was like they had these picnic tables lined up for us just to have a little meeting. Blah 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 blah, and then we ended up going through I forget which cell block it was, but like you know it was more or less the empty one. You know, people might go through for the VIP night tour. You know, so from center, if you were to go straight through, like you go straight through center and then go straight through there, that's cell block. I forget which one that is. Um, but I mean, there's usually nothing going. I mean, there's nothing going on up there, but I could feel everybody, quote unquote, everybody up above on the second floor, on the second story. You know, the railing.
Yep.
Oh, boy. I mean, that's just one time where I mean, you said you heard like a commode, like it sounded like people were in
Yeah.
there. You know,
Like congregating, yeah.
exactly. I didn't hear anything, and we're just walking through. You know, we're just kind of chit chatting, but I'm staying quiet because I can like feel everybody above us. Like that was the feeling. It was like multiple people looking down, and like this is like, yo, this is the quiet space. This is the quiet spot for the ones that like don't want to participate with the haunt. You know what I mean? So everybody else who wants the quiet car in the back, that's the quiet car in the back, and everybody's just looking down like, ooh, ooh. But yeah, getting hissed at and being ran up on felt like one time. You know, good, fun stuff, fun stuff.
No, well, and that was part of the environment, was you never knew what to expect there. You know, like whether something was just gonna walk around the corner at some time, or you know, like
He was great. He was good. I mean, for somebody like me, I loved it. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. You know,
same.
I didn't care. You know, I loved it. I still want to be in there. I want to be sleeping in there right. We should be doing the podcast from there right now.
Oh man, you know, I don't know if anyone will ever see this and like even care, but like if we could like just sleep in there while it rains one day or one night when it's raining, I'd love to be in there on a rainy night all by myself, man. That's a goal.
On a rainy night, all by yourself.
Specifically, man,
Where
you know,
in Blood Yard?
Anywhere, man. Like I just want to in the dark, like. You know what it's like when it rains. Like it would always be hurricane season. We catch those crazy storms.
We'll just sleep in center. We'll just sleep in center.
Exactly. No, I mean, I want to walk. I don't even want to sleep, man. No, you know what?
I ain't sleeping. I'm walking around. I'm listening. I'm like chatting it up with all my friends in Cell Block 2. What's up, my homies in Cell Block 2? Yo, Cell Block 2, my voice. Anyway, no, dude, I feel you. I'm not gonna touch anything or break anything because I love that building
I'll protect
much. I mean, I'll stop the rat from making a hole in the. I'll be like, yo, rat, you gotta pay for this. Where's your check?
I mean, I think we've proven that, like,
unless he's a donor.
I think we've proven that, like, we've always respected the location. Like, I never had a problem or an issue. Like, I've always followed the rules set forward. Like, it's not hard.
Of course.
It's not hard.
No. You just be respectful and don't touch anything that doesn't belong to you, and that's not a prop. That does not belong to you.
Wall. Exactly. Like, you got to realize that, it's a privilege to be there.
Yes.
And some of those spaces, especially, like, it's a privilege.
Yes. I mean, every day that we're allowed to be in there in any capacity is, you said it, an absolute privilege. Yep. And I'm so grateful and thankful for every second I had in that space, and I will ever hopefully have in that space again, just to be outside of that building. I I can't talk about it too much because it's a thing for me. I'm in love with that place. I love that place, almost like a little bit of a shiny thing, but it's because I love it so freaking much. I feel you, and you know what? And that's another reason why I love everybody else who's there, because I mean, for the most part, you felt that too. You felt that, like, yo, everybody's there because we're all down to do this crazy thing for whatever reason. We're all a bunch of weirdos. And we have respect for that place and what it means to be there. So, yeah, anyway, I love it. I've got,
Not good. No, I mean, and if anything, it shows, like, it was more than a job, dude.
It's more than just. First of all, none of us are stepping out and saying "boo." That's against our rules. You can't just do that. You got to be a little bit more intense and a little bit more specialized than that.
And that's another thing. I've learned so much, just like in terms of acting, which I guess was my goal. Like, I wanted to understand that world, and
acting,
a lot of it is like
reading people on the fly.
Yeah, well, that's the manager stuff, or like, it's more like the actor should be able to do their thing, and they're protected by management. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm talking more of the immersive entertainment part, where it's like you have to read somebody and understand. Is what I'm doing affecting them positively or negatively?
There's so many things, man, which we could probably sell if we tried.
Oh.
All the little hints and tips.
For hints and tips, please email and send money orders too. Anyway. But anyway.
Like, you could scare a big, or you don't have, it's like one tip I'll give away for free. You don't have to scare a big group. Scare one person and entertain everyone else.
Find the pillar of strength. Anyway, we cannot give away too much right here, right now. Maybe this is another reason why I love paranormal investigations too, because I can get into the head of I know what I'd be doing. You
were a ghost for, like, what? 6 years?
Yeah, it's like 8 years. Whatever. It's like
not to be exactly. Yeah.
We're haunters.
Yeah, you know exactly what it was like to be a ghost.
Pretty much. We might be quicker too. Oh man, hey Rob.
We got to leave. That was the beauty of it all.
That was the one thing that we got to do. We at least got to leave and charge our batteries and come back for more. Always more. Hey man, I love you. We've been talking for like an hour, which hey, I ain't complaining. We could talk for another 3 hours, but I would love to have you back on in some capacity. I'm sure we'll find out some way, either like another like terror alumni thing where everybody shares their little like terror haunt story, or something. Because I know it fascinates me. I don't know if it's kosher, but at this point I don't really care. I want to talk to my peoples. So
well, yeah, I mean, at least if anyone says we're not supposed to talk about it, then we know that there's something to talk about. So, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, we know too much. Rob, I
So I
love
just
you.
got a text. We gotta stop talking about it.
Uh-oh, we're getting the blip.
No.
Rob, do you got anything else to
I mean, I could probably dig something out, but I think we're good, man. I mean, I feel like I got the chunks out that really mattered. You know, like nothing affected me like those experiences did.
yeah.
Yeah, like I've never had like a weird, hallucination in terms of like I've never seen anything like crazy, crazy. I mean, I don't know. I do believe it's kind of about the power you put into it.
Yes.
And as a kid, I put more power into it. Like that was at the time when I got into like scary movies. Like I was watching like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like the original at 11.
Yeah.
So there's so many things and elements that you just can't prove when it comes to stuff like this. Like, and even if I had a camera or that video or the audio, if I had that, man, who knows if it would even be good by today's standards? It might have just sounded like like a flub or something.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably right about that. Maybe.
But like, or video would be terrible. If I had a video from back then or something, it would look like garbage, like legit garbage.
Well, but hey, I mean, at least you would have had something. But hey, your story is still, to me, it's just as good because I know you, and I know
Well, and
you.
also, obviously, if I was gonna make something up, I would have made something up.
I mean, it would have been a little bit crazier than that, right? And that's the thing. It's like nobody makes up like anything that's like I don't. It's when you hear I don't even know if it's paranormal or not, but that's when it's like, all right, I really need to hear it because like when you hear okay, yeah, sure. But hey, even if it's a little tiny thing, it's still fascinating underneath a microscope. So and sleep paralysis and paranormal account. I mean, not to say that we're just not sure. We just don't know.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, paranormal. I guess that's the not regular, not something that you experience every day, right? Like
exactly. And hey, that's all it needs to be. It's just paranormal. If it's not normal, we gonna talk about it. Hey man, all my love to you and yours.
man.
Thank you so much for sharing and opening up with us. You cried and then I cried. We totally had a moment, dude. Totally vibing.
I'll play it right now. If you include this, if you want, it was the weed.
Ah! Okay,
but,
maybe.
But no, our hearts were there. I'm sure our hearts. And maybe that's why we're two friends. Like our hearts are in good places, and we can see that in one another. And like, yeah, dude, like there's. It's good. It's good to cry. We got to get used to that. Like let's get over what people call toxic masculinity. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, we're
no patience. No patience for bullshit.
Let's just be and let's move on and progress. Let us progress. Well, thank you so much, man. Talking to you helps me progress and having some more episodes and some more stuff to edit. So thank you so much.
Thanks for inviting. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I mean, we will be talking again. We will be recording again in some way, shape, or form. And eventually, somehow, either you got to come out here when we're doing some kind of crazy paranormal investigation. I built this Halloween house that's inside my warehouse. In the summer, if you want to go camping, you got to come out and
we're gonna figure something out for sure. For sure, man. Even if it ends up being Halloween, man, I'm coming. Like I'll be out there for sure.
We will figure it out. Rob, I love you, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for telling us your story and your experiences. And hopefully this maybe helps somebody else. If not, to come out and tell us their experience, or maybe to understand that they're not alone.
Yeah, even if it's it's about making sense of things, really.
Yeah. Even if we can't, we at least should talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. Bring it out and put a perspective on it.
Well, Rob, thank you for giving us some perspective.
No problem, bro.
Well, hey, man. Take care and have a good night. Be safe, okay?
You too, bro.